Welcome back, everyone. In today's exciting video, we're diving into the fascinating world of rare coins. Specifically, we're looking at the top 5 most valuable United States wheat pennies. These historic coins are highly sought after by collectors because of their rarity, mint marks, and condition. Some of these pennies might look ordinary at first glance, but in the right condition they can sell for thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars at auctions. Let's get started. First up, the 1951 Lincoln wheat penny. At first glance it may look like an ordinary old penny, especially if it has a dark or black shade from heavy circulation, but many collectors are curious about its history, rarity, and potential auction value. In this video we will take a close look at the background of this coin, its design features, how rare it really is in worn condition, and what collectors might pay for it in today's market. The Lincoln Wheat Penny series was introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. It became the first regular United States coin to feature a real historical figure instead of symbolic imagery. The coin was designed by sculptor Victor David Brenner, whose portrait of Lincoln remains one of the most recognizable designs in American coinage. In 1951, the wheat penny had already been circulating for over 4 decades. During that year, the United States Mint produced pennies at 3 facilities: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The coin with the small D mint mark under the date indicates it was struck at the Denver Mint. In fact, the Denver facility produced more than 625 million pennies in 1951, making it the most common mint variety of that year. These coins were composed of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, weighed about 3.11 grams, and had a diameter of 19.05 millimeters, which was the standard for Lincoln cents of that era. Even though millions were produced, the 1951 wheat penny still has several distinctive design features that collectors appreciate. On the obverse side, you will see the right-facing portrait of Abraham Lincoln with the inscriptions "In God We Trust" above, "Liberty" to the left, and the year 1951 with a small D mint mark beneath it. The reverse side features 2 curved wheat stalks framing the words 1 cent and United States of America. This classic wheat design gave the coin its nickname, wheat penny. Collectors often classify these coins by color because copper changes over time. The 3 main categories are red road, red brown, and brown BN. The black shade or dark brown color usually means the coin has circulated heavily for many years and has lost its original copper shine. Coins with original red luster are typically far more valuable. One of the most common questions collectors ask is the 1951 wheat penny rare? The answer depends mostly on condition. Because more than 625 million coins were struck, the 1951 is considered a common date in the wheat penny series. However, rarity changes dramatically when condition improves. While millions circulated and became worn or dark in color, far fewer coins survived in high-grade mint condition. This means a black shade or heavily circulated coin is usually not rare, but pristine examples with original red surfaces can be highly collectible. Some varieties with minting errors, such as repunched mint marks, can also attract collectors and may sell for higher prices depending on the strength of the error and the overall condition of the coin. Now let's talk about the part most viewers are interested in: the auction market value of the 1951 wheat penny. In heavily circulated or dark brown condition, the coin usually sells for around 15 cents to 90 cents, depending on how worn it is. Coins in better preserved uncirculated condition can range from $1 to several dollars, while exceptional high-grade coins graded near perfect have reached over $8,000 at auction. So if your coin is dark, scratched, or worn, it is most likely worth a few cents to under $1. But if it still has bright red copper color and sharp details, the value can increase dramatically. If you think you have a 1951 wheat penny, here are a few tips to help determine its potential value. First, examine the coin under good lighting and look for the small D mint mark below the date. This confirms it was produced at the Denver Mint. Second, check the color of the copper. Coins with original red shine usually command higher prices, while dark or black coins are more common. Third, inspect the coin for possible errors or unusual features, such as doubled letters or a repunched mint mark. These varieties sometimes attract specialized collectors. Finally, never clean an old coin. Cleaning can damage the surface and significantly reduce its collector value. To sum up, the 1951 Lincoln wheat penny is a fascinating piece of American coin history. Although millions were minted and most surviving examples are common, the coin still attracts collectors because of its classic wheat design and connection to mid-20th century U.S. history. In black shade or heavily circulated condition, the coin usually carries only a modest value of a few cents to under $1. But in rare high-grade mint condition, it can reach thousands of dollars at major auctions. That's why every coin collector knows that sometimes the smallest coin in your collection can still tell a big historical story. Next up, the 1955 United States wheat penny with no mint mark. At first glance, this small copper coin might look ordinary, especially when it appears in a dark or blackened condition after decades of circulation. But collectors know that even worn coins can sometimes carry surprising historical value. In this video, we will explore the story behind the 1955 wheat penny, examine its unique features, discuss collector demand even for damaged examples, and reveal its possible auction market value in US dollars. The 1955 wheat penny belongs to the famous Lincoln wheat cent series, which was produced in the United States from 1909 to 1958. The coin was designed by sculptor Victor David Brenner and features the portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the front and two wheat stalks on the reverse side, which is why collectors call it the wheat penny. Victor David Brenner, the year 1955, is particularly memorable for coin collectors. During that year, millions of pennies were struck at the Philadelphia Mint without a mint mark. In fact, approximately 330 million coins were produced without a mint mark, meaning they were minted in Philadelphia. Although most of these coins were made for everyday circulation, the year 1955 also produced one of the most famous coin errors in American history, the legendary 1955 double-die Lincoln cent. That rare error variety has sold for thousands of dollars at auctions. However, most standard 1955 pennies do not contain this error and are much more common. The 1955 wheat penny has several distinctive characteristics that make it recognizable to collectors. On the front of the coin, also known as the obverse, you will see Abraham Lincoln facing to the right with the inscriptions "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date 1955. On coins without a mint mark, there is no letter below the date because they were struck at the Philadelphia Mint. The reverse side shows two wheat stalks surrounding the words 1 cent and United States of America. The phrase "E pluribus unum" also appears at the top. These coins were made from 95% copper with small amounts of tin and zinc, which gives them their reddish color when new. However, after many decades in circulation, copper coins often develop darker tones. In heavily circulated pieces, this copper oxidation can turn the coin brown or even black, creating what collectors call a black shade or dark patina. When a 1955 wheat penny appears in black shade or heavily circulated condition, it usually means the coin has spent many years in circulation and has experienced wear, scratches, or environmental exposure. These conditions lower the coin's collector value compared to well-preserved examples. However, wheat pennies remain extremely popular among coin collectors around the world. Many collectors enjoy building complete date sets of Lincoln wheat cents, which means even worn coins still find buyers in the hobby market. Coins with darker toning or damage are typically classified as circulated or low-grade coins. While they are not considered rare individually, they still carry historical appeal because they are part of an iconic American coin series produced during the mid-20th century. Collectors especially look carefully at 1955 pennies because of the possibility of the famous double-die error. Even worn coins are inspected closely for signs of this doubling on the date and lettering. The value of a 1955 wheat penny without a mint mark depends greatly on its condition. In most cases, a typical circulated coin is worth about 15 cents to around $1 in the collector market. Coins in uncirculated condition with original red color can sell for $2 to several $100s, depending on their grade and eye appeal. Some exceptionally well-preserved examples have reached hundreds of dollars in auctions, especially if they display bright red copper surfaces. However, if the coin is heavily worn, scratched, or has dark black toning, the value is usually closer to the lower end of the range. In many cases, such coins may sell for a few cents to around $1, mainly as collectible fillers for coin albums. The situation changes dramatically if the coin turns out to be the famous 1955 double-die error, which can sell for thousands of dollars depending on condition. If you believe you have a 1955 wheat penny, there are several tips to help determine its potential value. First, check the area below the date to confirm whether there is a mint mark. If there is no mint mark, the coin was produced in Philadelphia. Second, inspect the lettering on the front of the coin carefully. If you see strong doubling on the numbers of the date or the word Liberty, you may have the valuable double-die variety. Third, avoid cleaning the coin. Cleaning can permanently damage the surface and significantly reduce its collector value. Finally, if you think the coin might be valuable, consider having it evaluated or graded by a professional coin grading service. The 1955 United States wheat penny without a mint mark is a fascinating piece of American coin history. While most examples in dark or damaged condition are worth only a small amount above face value, the coin still attracts attention because of its connection to one of the most famous mint errors ever discovered. For collectors, every wheat penny tells a story. Even a black-toned coin that has circulated for decades represents a small but meaningful piece of history. And who knows, sometimes the most ordinary-looking coin can turn out to be a hidden treasure. Next up, the 1954 United States wheat penny. At first glance, it may look like just another old copper cent, but for coin collectors and history enthusiasts, this small coin carries decades of story and value. The Lincoln Wheat Penny series is one of the most famous coin designs ever produced in the United States, and coins from the 1950s represent the final years before the design was replaced. Many people still find these pennies in old jars, inherited collections, or even pocket change. But the big question collectors often ask is, how rare is the 1954 wheat penny, and what is its value at auction today? In this video, we'll look closely at the history of the coin, its design features, collector demand, and the current market value in dollars, especially for coins in fine or worn condition. The 1954 wheat penny was produced by the United States Mint during the final era of the Lincoln Wheat Cent series. This series began in 1909 to celebrate the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln and was designed by sculptor Victor David Brenner. The design remained in production until 1958, making it one of the longest-running coin designs in U.S. history. In 1954, wheat pennies were minted at 3 different facilities: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The coin we're focusing on today carries the D Mint mark, which means it was produced at the Denver Mint. Approximately 251 million 1954 D pennies were struck, making it the most common version of the 1954 wheat cent. Because such a large number were produced, many of these coins circulated heavily through the American economy during the 1950s and 1960s. Over time, most became worn, scratched, or damaged through everyday use. Even though the coin is common, it remains a favorite among collectors because it represents the final years of the historic wheat penny series. The 1954 wheat penny has several distinctive features that make it recognizable to collectors. On the obverse, or front side, the coin displays the famous portrait of President Abraham Lincoln facing right. Above his head appears the motto, "In God We Trust," while the word "Liberty" appears to the left of the portrait. The date 1954 is located to the right, with a small D Mint mark directly beneath the date indicating the Denver Mint. On the reverse side, the coin features 2 wheat stalks framing the inscriptions 1 cent and United States of America. At the top of the reverse is the Latin motto, E Pluribus Unum. This wheat design is what gave the coin its famous nickname, the wheat penny. The coin itself is made of 95% copper with small amounts of tin and zinc, weighs about 3.11 grams, and measures roughly 90 millimeters in diameter. These physical characteristics remained standard for Lincoln cents during that era. While the 1954 wheat penny is not considered a rare coin overall, its value and demand depend heavily on its condition. Because more than 250 million pieces were produced, worn examples are still fairly easy to find today. However, collectors still purchase these coins for completing wheat penny collections or building year-by-year sets. Coins in damaged or heavily circulated condition usually have little collector premium. Scratches, corrosion, cleaning marks, or heavy wear reduce a coin's desirability significantly. Many wheat pennies found in circulation today fall into this category. Even so, collectors still enjoy owning these pieces of history. For beginners, damaged or worn wheat pennies provide an affordable entry into coin collecting. They also serve as reminders of everyday American commerce in the mid-20th century. When it comes to market value, the price of a 1954 wheat penny depends mainly on its grade and appearance. In fine circulated condition, these coins are typically worth only a few cents above their face value. Most price guides estimate a value around 5 cents to 26 cents depending on the exact grade and color. Coins in average circulated condition may sell for around 15 cents, while uncirculated coins with strong luster can reach several dollars in the collector market. However, extremely high-grade examples can be surprisingly valuable. A nearly perfect mint state 67 example of the 1954 penny once sold for more than $7,600 at auction, showing how dramatically value increases with condition. For most people who find this coin in fine or worn condition, the realistic market value remains modest, but the historical interest is still very high. If you own a 1954 wheat penny or plan to collect wheat cents, there are a few helpful tips to keep in mind. First, always examine your coin carefully for unusual features such as minting errors, doubled letters, or repunched mint marks. These rare varieties can increase the value significantly. Second, avoid cleaning old coins. Cleaning can damage the natural surface of the coin and actually reduce its value to collectors. It is always better to keep the coin in its original state. Third, consider storing your coins in protective holders or albums designed for coin collecting. Proper storage prevents scratches, moisture damage, and discoloration over time. Finally, if you believe your coin might be in exceptionally good condition, you may want to have it graded by a professional service. Certified coins often sell for higher prices in auctions and collector markets. The 1954 wheat penny may appear ordinary at first glance, but it represents an important piece of American numismatic history. Produced during the final years of the Lincoln Wheat Cent series, this coin circulated through the United States during a fascinating era of economic growth and cultural change. Although most examples in fine or worn condition are worth only a few cents above their face value, the coin remains popular among collectors due to its historical significance and classic wheat-ear design. And as we've seen, exceptional examples in pristine condition can command impressive prices at auction. Next up, the 1956 United States wheat penny with the D mint mark. At first glance, this small copper coin may look ordinary, especially if it appears dirty or worn. But many collectors wonder whether a coin like this could still hold hidden value. In this video, we'll take a closer look at the history of the 1956 D wheat penny, its unique features, how rare it actually is, and most importantly, what collectors are paying for it today in auctions, even when the coin is in damaged or circulated condition. By the end of this video, you'll know whether that old penny in your collection could be worth more than you think. The 1956 wheat penny is part of the famous Lincoln wheat cent series produced in the United States from 1909 to 1958. These coins feature the portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the front and two wheat stalks on the back, symbolizing prosperity and agricultural strength in the country. The design was created by sculptor Victor David Brenner and remained one of the most recognizable designs in American coin history. In 1956, the United States Mint produced these pennies at two main facilities, Philadelphia and Denver. Coins from the Denver Mint carry a small D mint mark under the date. The Denver facility produced a massive number of these coins, more than 1.09 billion pieces, making it one of the highest production years for wheat pennies. Because so many were minted, the 1956 D penny is generally considered common today. However, collectors still value it because it belongs to the final years of the classic wheat penny design, which ended just 2 years later in 1958. The 1956 D wheat penny has several distinctive features that help collectors identify it easily. The obverse side of the coin shows Abraham Lincoln's profile facing right, along with the inscriptions "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the year 1956. Below the date, you'll notice the small D mint mark indicating it was struck at the Denver Mint. On the reverse side, the coin displays two curved wheat ears surrounding the words 1 cent and United States of America. Above these inscriptions appears the Latin phrase E pluribus unum. This coin was struck primarily from 95% copper with small amounts of tin and zinc, giving it a reddish-brown color when new. Over decades of circulation, however, many coins develop dark spots, stains, or a dirty brown appearance due to oxidation and wear. Another interesting aspect is that some 1956 D pennies have minting errors, such as repunched mint marks or double die details. These rare variations can dramatically increase the value of the coin. When discussing rarity, it's important to understand that most 1956 D wheat pennies are not rare at all because of the enormous number produced. With more than 1 billion coins struck, millions still exist today in circulated condition. However, even common coins can attract collector interest depending on their condition or unique characteristics. A penny that is heavily circulated, scratched, or dirty typically holds only minimal value. But collectors still buy these coins as affordable historical pieces or to fill gaps in their wheat penny collections. Demand increases dramatically when a coin has special qualities such as bright original color, minimal wear, or a verified minting error. These factors transform an otherwise common coin into something far more desirable in the collector market. Now let's talk about what a 1956 D wheat penny might actually be worth today. If the coin is in dirty, worn, or heavily circulated condition, its value is usually very modest. Most examples sell for about 10 cents to $2, depending on how much detail remains on the coin. Coins in better condition, especially those graded as uncirculated, can reach prices between $2 and $10 or more. Exceptional specimens with bright red copper surfaces and extremely high grades have sold for far higher amounts. In fact, some top-quality coins graded MS67 Plus Red have achieved auction prices as high as about $18,000, demonstrating how dramatically condition can affect value. Additionally, rare mint errors such as repunched mint marks or double die varieties can raise the value significantly, sometimes reaching hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on rarity and demand. If you think you may own a 1956 D wheat penny, there are a few simple steps you can take to evaluate it. First, examine the coin carefully under good lighting or magnification. Look for signs of doubling in the letters or numbers, unusual mint marks, or off-center strikes that might indicate a mint error. Second, pay attention to the coin's color and detail. Wheat pennies with original reddish surfaces are usually worth more than dark brown or heavily worn coins. Avoid cleaning the coin. Many beginners think cleaning will improve the appearance, but it actually reduces collector value because it damages the natural surface. If you believe your coin might be rare or in excellent condition, consider having it graded by a professional coin grading service. This can authenticate the coin and help determine its true market value. The 1956 D wheat penny may seem like a simple 1-cent coin, but it represents an important chapter in American coin history. As one of the final issues of the Wheat Penny series, it continues to attract collectors around the world. While most examples in dirty or worn condition are worth only a few cents or a couple of dollars, rare high-grade pieces and special error varieties can command surprisingly high prices at auction. So before you dismiss that old penny sitting in your coin jar, take a closer look. You might be holding a small but fascinating piece of history and possibly even a valuable collectible. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed learning about the 1956D Wheat Penny and its potential value, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another rare coin discovery.